Hello and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into something pretty big for business leaders everywhere. How on earth do you manage the just the constant stream of customer communication?
It's a flood, isn't it? Calls, texts, emails, website forms. It just never stops.
Exactly. And think about an industry like real estate. Speed and just being there when someone reaches out is, well, it's make or break, right?
Totally. Miss that first contact, and you might lose the client.
So how do you stay connected, keep things running smoothly, and be genuinely always on for everyone, especially when, the sheer volume feels like it's swamping your team?
Yeah. What does it really take to make sure every single inquiry gets captured, handled fast, and followed up on, even when your agents are, out showing properties or just plain dizzy?
That's the nut we want to crack today.
Right. And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to explore something we're seeing pop up more and more, AI-powered voice and chat agents acting as, communication partners.
Communication partners, okay.
Yeah, they're really starting to change how businesses handle interactions, lead gen, qualification, even just daily operations, especially in places like real estate, where things move so fast.
So we're focusing on what this actually means for you, the business leader who's trying to scale things up.
Precisely. How does this tech fit into your strategy?
Okay, let's unpack that. You mentioned the volume, but let's get specific about the communication struggles in real estate. Where are agents and property managers really feeling the pinch?
It's the scale, definitely, but also the unpredictability. A new listing hits the market, and boom, phones explode. Exactly. The phone's ringing constantly, emails are stacking up, and if an agent is, say, in the middle of showing a house or negotiating an offer, or even just driving,
They just can't answer everything instantly.
no way. And for property managers, it's often that death by a thousand cuts scenario. Just this constant flow of routine questions.
Like, when's rent due? Or my tap's leaking?
Can I see my lease? Stuff like that. Simple questions, but they consume so much time. The basic problem is human teams have limits. They just physically can't be there, ready to respond instantly, 24/7.
And the knock-on effect of that delay, it's more than just annoying for the client, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. Slow responses, that leads to frustrated clients, missed calls. Those are literally missed leads. People just call the next number on the list, the agency that does answer.
So opportunities just vanish.
They do. And property managers get totally burned out answering the same questions over and over, which pulls them away from, the more complex stuff. If you can't scale for those peaks, leads just slip through the cracks.
Okay, so humans hit a capacity wall. This sounds like exactly where technology, specifically AI, could step in as that partner you mentioned. What are these AI agents actually built to do?
Think of them as super focused virtual team members. They use AI to have pretty natural conversations with people, whether someone's chatting on your website, sending a text, or calling your office line.
So they handle the actual interaction.
Yeah, their main job is to engage people instantly, answer common questions, maybe qualify leads based on criteria you set, and crucially, follow up consistently. That follow-up piece is often where humans struggle when they get busy.
Right, things fall off the radar.
Exactly. So these agents are trained for specific business roles. Maybe answering the phone or calling back warm leads or gathering initial info. They can handle incoming stuff, make outbound calls, or both. And they work, 24/7. No coffee breaks needed.
No weekends off?
Nope. Always on.
Okay, let's get really practical then. How are real estate businesses using these AI agents right now? Where is the impact being felt most?
Well, one really obvious place is 247 chatbots. You see them on websites, maybe in Facebook Messenger. They give instant answers to those common questions about listings, property details, open house times, that sort of thing.
Guiding visitors, basically.
Exactly. And helping them figure out the next step, like booking a viewing. We saw an example, Barry Plant's Grayspot, acting as this kind of round-the-clock online helper.
Okay, that makes sense for sales listings.
Yeah, but what's really interesting is seeing it applied in property management, too. There are bots, like one called Andy, that apparently handled something like 20,000 rental inquiries.
Wow, 20,000.
Yeah, sending out application forms automatically, answering all those standard questions. It basically digitized their whole initial leasing funnel. Someone could chat, take a virtual tour, apply online.
And potentially get approved really quickly.
Reportedly in as little as 48 hours in some cases. It just clears out that huge volume of routine stuff from the property manager's inboxes.
That's a massive efficiency gain for routine chat stuff. But phone calls are still huge, right?
Right.
What about managing those?
Oh, absolutely critical. And often the hardest part when everyone's busy. That's where AI voice agents come into play. They act like virtual receptionists.
So they answer the phone.
Yep. When your team is tied up or it's after hours, the AI answers professionally, greets the caller, asks what they need. Maybe it's about a specific property. Maybe it's general. It captures their details.
Crucial step, getting that contact info.
Definitely. And it might answer simple questions if it's programmed to, or it can smoothly route the call to the right person if needed. The big win here is that every call gets answered. No more leads lost to voicemail black holes or just hangups.
Okay, so capturing every inbound lead via phone. But you mentioned outbound earlier. That feels more proactive in the sales process. How's AI being used to make calls?
Yeah, this is where it gets really fascinating. For scaling up lead qualification and follow-up, AI systems can actually place outbound calls.
Really? The AI calls people?
There was one case, an AI system made over 14,000 calls, logged something like 17,000 minutes of talk time, specifically trying to qualify leads.
14,000 calls. What did that cost?
The reported cost was surprisingly low, around $900 or so, and it took detailed notes for the human agents to then pick up.
Wow. Okay. Any other examples?
Yeah, another really compelling one was a firm in Texas. They used an AI to call old leads.
Yeah.
People who hadn't responded to agents in months, maybe even over a year.
Kind of written off leads.
Pretty much. The AI made these automated follow-up calls, and apparently, within less than a month, deals that started purely from those AI conversations generated an extra $45,000 in commission.
45 grand from dead leads.
That's what was reported. It really shows how AI can systematically work through leads that humans just don't have the bandwidth to chase anymore. It kind of resurrects those dormant opportunities.
That's incredible. Obviously, you need to be careful with regulations and how people feel about AI calling them, right?
Oh, absolutely. It has to be done thoughtfully, ethically, and within regulations. Transparency is key.
Makes sense. So beyond the initial call or chat, how does AI help keep leads warm over time, that nurturing process?
Right, because consistent follow-up is where so many leads get dropped. This is where automated lead nurturing using text and email comes in. AI agents use these channels to stay in touch.
So the AI texts people.
Yeah, think of AI assistants like Itza Holmes. They can actually have two-way SMS conversations with leads, asking qualifying questions, keeping the dialogue going for days or weeks. They remember the context, which is hard for busy humans.
And you mentioned Rita in Australia.
Right. Rita's another example. It helps agents engage their entire contact database with personalized messages, trying to surface new listing opportunities they wouldn't have found otherwise.
So it's about saving agent time and making sure nobody slips through the cracks?
Exactly. It saves huge amounts of manual follow-up time and boosts conversion because every lead gets that consistent, timely touch point. No more leads lost just because someone got busy.
And what about scheduling? Booking showings, meetings. That feels like prime automation territory with all the back and forth.
It absolutely is. Streamlining appointment scheduling is a huge win. AI schedulers can manage the whole thing.
How does that work?
Well, they could look at an agent's calendar, offer available slots, book the appointment directly, send out the calendar invites.
And reminders to handle reschedules.
Yep, all of it, automatically. Some reports suggest using a chatbot for online scheduling can cut down appointment-related phone calls by like 40%. It's basically a 247 personal assistant just for managing the calendar.
We touched on property management earlier with those initial rental inquiries. Is AI helping them in other ways too?
Definitely. It's providing crucial property management support beyond just leasing. AI assistants can handle that relentless stream of routine questions from current tenants and landlords.
The rent questions, lease details, maintenance requests.
Exactly. By fielding all those common, low-complexity inquiries, they take a massive load off property managers. It reduces burnout and frees them up to use their human skills on trickier tenant issues or landlord relationships.
Okay, that paints a really clear picture of the capabilities. AI answering calls, making calls, texting leads, scheduling, supporting property managers. It seems like it touches nearly every interaction point.
Yeah.
So let's zoom out. What's the big picture business impact here? Why should a business leader really care about bringing this tech in?
Right. What does it actually do for your performance, for your bottom line? Well, first, and maybe most vital in real estate, is round-the-clock responsiveness.
Being always on.
Exactly. You guarantee no call, no chat, no form submission gets missed. You capture every single lead the second they reach out. That speed is huge for engagement in this industry, and it can really lift customer satisfaction.
Okay, responsiveness first. What else?
Second is significant efficiency and cost savings. These AI agents handle tons of repetitive, time-sucking tasks that used to need human hours.
Which directly cuts labor costs.
It can, yeah. We're seeing reports of businesses cutting down their customer service workload by, say, 25% to 40%. And when you compare costs like a full-time employee salary versus a pretty reasonable monthly fee for an AI service doing a specific job,
The ROI could be pretty compelling.
it really can be. And those savings can be put back into other growth areas.
Makes sense. What's the third impact?
Third, improved lead conversion and capture. Because every lead gets captured instantly and then followed up with consistently and fast, you just convert more of them.
Right, like those examples you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, higher qualified lead rates, better lead to sale conversions. AI doesn't forget, it doesn't get distracted. It just ensures that timely engagement happens, maximizing every single opportunity.
Okay, responsiveness, efficiency, better conversion. What about the human team?
That's crucial. Fourth is relief for human teams. By automating the boring, high-volume, simple stuff, AI reduces burnout. It frees up your agents, your managers, to focus on where they add unique value.
Like building relationships, complex negotiations.
Yeah, exactly. Understanding tricky client needs, providing empathy, closing deals, the things that really need human intelligence and connection. When your team isn't bogged down in repetitive tasks, they perform better, and honestly, they're probably happier.
That's a really important point. And
Finally, using this tech gives you a clear, competitive edge. Customer expectations are shifting, right? People expect instant answers now.
yeah, patience is thin.
Very thin. So businesses using AI to be always on really stand out. They offer a level of service that others just can't match, and adoption is speeding up. We saw figures suggesting by early 2025, nearly half of Australian agencies were already using some AI in communications.
So it's becoming table stakes, almost.
It's rapidly heading that way. It's less of a novelty and more of a necessity to stay competitive.
Okay, that's a powerful case for the benefits. So if a business leader is listening and thinking, all right, this sounds interesting, but where would I even start? What's the practical first step?
The advice usually is, start small, start strategically. Look for the parts of your business with the highest volume of the simplest inquiries.
Low-hanging fruit, basically.
Exactly.
Oh.
Appointment scheduling, answering basic website FAQs, those are great starting points. AI is really good at that stuff, and you can see results pretty quickly, which helps build momentum.
And what about handing things off? AI can't handle everything.
Absolutely critical point. You must design clear escalation paths. AI is great for the routine, but complex problems, sensitive situations, anything unusual that still needs a human touch, human judgment.
So the AI needs to know when to raise its hand.
Precisely. And it needs to hand off seamlessly to a human agent, giving them all the context from the conversation so far. The most successful setups we see aren't AI replacing humans. It's a hybrid model.
AI handling the volume, humans handling the complexity.
That's the sweet spot. AI tackles the routine, freeing up your expert team for the high-value, nuanced interactions.
That makes a lot of sense. Focus on volume first, ensure smooth handoffs.
Okay, so we've really dug into how these AI voice and chat agents are tackling that communication overload in real estate, answering phones 24/7, nurturing leads by text, automating scheduling.
And the core idea, the main takeaway here is it's not just about automation for automation's sake. It's really a strategic lever.
To improve responsiveness. Yeah, to improve responsiveness, capture more leads, convert them better, find cost efficiencies, and maybe, most importantly, let your human team focus on what they do best. Building relationships, closing deals.
Right. Empowering the human element.
Exactly. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought for you, the listener, to mull over. AI is changing the game, changing the standard for customer